Hello, welcome to Reads and Threads. My name's Kate. Hello if you're new here. Welcome back if you're joining us again. Today is going to be the first clip in my new vlog. I thought it would be fun to vlog me attempting to finish our fantasy bingo. This is the opposite side of my library that we are seeing at the moment, where I've just stuck up most of my challenges. There's still a couple I've got to pop up here. Our fantasy bingo being the one that we need to get finished by the end of this month. At the time of filming, we are currently on the 8th of March. I am quickly running out of time and I still have 5 slots to finish off. Hopefully they are showing up. If not, I'll pop them up on the screen a bit better. So I have already allocated out books to go for each of these slots. I did that ages ago, right at the beginning. I have, as I've tried some of the books that I originally allocated, swapped a couple out. So we do have a few ring-ins and then we'll see how we go. I am hopeful that I can read these 5 books in the next few weeks, as well as a couple of the others that I do have on my March TBR. I am planning to get this vlog out April in the hopes of while I am overseas on my holiday. With the current events though, I am not entirely sure how that's going to go. So I have hope that we will be able to figure out how to get us across the other side of the world. But we are flying with Emirates, so there's that. But we will see what happens. Hopefully they will be able to figure something out. We'll be able to figure something out and I will be in Spain and England. But that's the current situation. I do have a long weekend here this weekend, though I don't have a huge amount of time for reading, but we'll see how we go. I had to work yesterday and then we have had, unfortunately, my auntie has passed away. So I have a lot going on with my family at the moment. It was very sudden and unexpected and very fast in the progression of what was going on. My family is obviously devastated and yeah, we're just trying to work all through that as we can. I'm going to go down and obviously spend some time with everyone and help out where I can. But I do need to start another book. So last night I finished the book that I was reading, which wasn't for a fantasy bingo. It was my new release for Herked. In saying that, I could technically slot it in for one of the spots that is actually left. So let's run over the spots that we do have left. First spot that we still need to complete is Hidden Gem, and that is to read a book that has under 1,000 ratings on Goodreads. This is the one that I thought I had a book slotted in for, and when I tried it, it just wasn't for me. So to complete hard mode, to finish this prompt off, it needs to have been published over 5 years ago. So I have found another substitute book, and that is Power and Majesty by Tansy Rayner Roberts. This is one that I already physically owned. Definitely fits the bill for both prompts. So this was originally published in 2010, so it's definitely over 5 years ago, and it has, at this time, under 1,000 ratings on Goodreads. So hopefully I enjoy this one. I do have an ebook version of it as well at the moment, which hopefully I can get to, or I can obviously just read this one physically. So that is my plan for that square. For high fashion, we have to read a book where clothing, fashion, or fiber arts are an important part of the story. And for hard mode, the main character makes the clothes or fibers. So for this one, I've slotted in This Woven Kingdom by Tahir Mafi. I have multiple versions of this out at the moment. I have a physical copy from the library. I do already have an ebook on my Kobo. And I do have an audio checked out from Libby from the library as well. So multiple ways of consuming this book. I am eager to get to this one. I have also slotted this in for another challenge as well, so it would definitely be playing double duty. For our next prompt, which is book club or read along book, you needed to read a book that was or is officially a group read on Our Fantasy, the subreddit. Hard mode is to read and participate in an Our Fantasy like discussion. I don't plan on doing hard mode for this one, but I do plan on reading Angel's Blood by Nalini Singh. I have been wanting to get to this for a very long time. I've had multiple people tell me I should really gonna enjoy this series, so hopefully this is something that I will be able to get to. I own this physically, plus I also think I do have an ebook version of it, possibly, so hopefully that one will get done. One that I don't have a physical copy for, the next square is published in 2025. For this, I need to read, obviously, a book that was published for the first time in 2025. For hard mode, it needs to be the author's debut. I'm not entirely sure if the book that I picked meets hard mode or not. I have to have a bit of a look into it. But I had picked Tears of the Wolf by Elizabeth Wheatley. I do still plan on getting to this one. I have an ebook version that I borrowed from the library. And I think I may even, actually own it myself on ebooks. I do have an ebook version that I have gotten some way. But that's how I'm going to hopefully do that one. And then our last square is author of colour. For this one, you needed to obviously read a book by an author of colour. For hard mode, it needed to be a horror book. I don't read horror, so I won't be hitting hard mode for this one. But I did plan on reading An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I have multiple versions of this at the moment. I own this physically, plus I have an audio version, and I think I have this on ebook as well. Again, not one that I'm going to struggle to be able to get my hands on, but just need to be able to read. Hopefully that will happen. I did say, I think in my March TBR video, if you have watched that I could potentially switch some of these out for other books. Specifically the author of colour book. I just finished Rings of Fate yesterday. This one would count for author of colour as well. And I haven't used Melissa Dela Cruz on my board yet already. So by the end of this vlog, I may end up swapping out some of them. Like I said, potentially to this one. I also could swap out my published in 2025. I have read a lot of 2025 releases over the last year, and so that would be a possibility. Other than that, I don't think I can really mix and match any of the other squares. Just those two, I think I have the potential to reassess, unless I go back through the book clubs and read a long list and see if any of the other books that I read this year would count for that as well. Though I am eager to get to Angel's Blood, so hopefully that won't be the case. Last night when I needed a new book to start today, I did end up doing a dice roll, which was slightly unusual. I knew I had these books that I needed to read, but one of the other challenges that I am doing in March is Realmathon, and one of the prompts is to randomize your book selection. So I just thought that that was going to be a handy way to decide which book I was going to pick up next. My dice roll, I unfortunately did not film. It was 12:30 this morning, just as I was going to bed, and I just thought, I just want to know what book I'm going to be reading tomorrow. Anyway, it did pick this Woven Kingdom. I have decided that I really just feel like picking up an ebook at the moment, so I think I'm going to read that on my Kobo for now. I can switch backwards and forwards between the audio and the physical book. I did actually quite like the idea of having the audio on hand as well, just so I can make sure I'm getting those character names correct. But hopefully I'm going to fly through this one and it's going to be really good. This isn't a small book by any means. This one is 494 pages, so it will probably take me a little while. This is my favorite size paperback, so if I just feel out the urge to pick it up physically, I will probably dip in and out of this one as well as reading it on my Kobo. But I will pop back in a little bit and I will give you my first impressions of this Woven Kingdom by Taha Mahaffey. Hopefully we will successfully complete this by the end of March. I don't technically plan on logging my reads in any way. I don't know if you are meant to or how you would submit it. I heard about this challenge on YouTube. I don't actually use fantasy or subreddit or anything like that, other than to access this one challenge. So my plan is just to do it for myself and then keep track in my reading journal. I am planning on doing the one next year as well at this stage, but as I'll be away, my TBR for that one is probably going to be slightly delayed. But the point of this vlog is to try and finish these 5 books. So let's get into it. Hello, I am just popping in to give you a quick update. So, like I said yesterday, I was going to start this Woven Kingdom by Tahir Murphy, and I did do that. Late last night, I ended up picking up the ebook, which is the way that I really felt like reading. And I read the first 2 chapters of this, which they aren't huge. I think they got me to like page 20, 22, and I was struggling. I nearly DNF'd this. I was like, this is just not for me. I don't know that I'm going to enjoy this one at all. I had listened quickly to the beginning of the audio to check the pronunciation of our main character, and I was just like, okay, cool, got that down pat. I'll be all good now. So I only met this one girl, what is her name? Eliza. And I'm still probably pronouncing it wrong, but that's what it is in my head now. And so I was like, this isn't working. And it was like after midnight, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to read anymore now. I'll leave it, see how I go, and maybe I'll start another ebook tomorrow. In saying that, today I had to do a fair bit of driving to go down to one of my friends and then back up to my auntie's place. We're going through some of her belongings. So it's just been a huge weekend in general. But audio is my friend when I'm driving. I love it. So I finished the audio that I was listening to, and I needed another one. So I was like, well, I've got this book on audio. I'll switch to that and see if that helps. It is better. So I think I will. I nearly was just going to switch it out. I do have it in for a couple of different challenges, but I was like, if I'm going to do that, I need to decide fairly quickly because I need to move on. So for now, I will leave this and do this one as my audio read. In saying that, now I am up to about page 67. So I'm in chapter 7. So we've met the prince, who is called Cameron, and he thinks that Eliza is a spy. So they haven't actually met. So Eliza is a djinn who is pretty much hiding what she is in this human kingdom. She is a servant who is living currently in this pretty fancy house in the city. She's constantly having to move around. She doesn't need food to eat, like to survive. I thought that was interesting. She just requires water. So for the most part, she's trying to hide, make ends meet, and get through the day. But she's very talented, and her djinn ancestry gives her certain abilities that humans don't have, that they have outlawed. But she is very proficient in sewing and that kind of stuff. So that is the reason that I'm reading it, for the fashion connotations within this story. And she stays up at like middle of the night to finish dresses for clients and that kind of stuff. She is getting taken advantage of a fair bit, that no one likes her accent. The housekeeper is telling her she sounds too posh and she needs to know her place. And I don't still think that I'm gonna love this one. At the moment, I'm pretty sure that I'll probably just read this for the challenge and then not continue. Now that may change, who knows? But so far it's okay via audio. I'm dealing with it via audio. That meant that I needed another physical read. So I did have a look at the other books that I needed to finish for our fantasy bingo and that were on my TBR. Possibly that I didn't have the audio versions for, so that I knew that I would definitely be reading them physically. And I decided to pick up Power and Majesty by Tansy Rayner Roberts. So this one is in for my hidden gem. And even just the act of reading it when I picked it up first time, just how easy it was flowing in my head. I didn't have to struggle to figure it out. I was preferring. It just seems like a better reading experience from that instance. Whether the writing is better, I don't necessarily know. Like, it's still feeling a bit random and disjointed at the moment, and the sentence structure isn't the best, but I think that this one will be a fairly easy read. So that's good. I have started this one. I am not very far through. I haven't marked my place in the book because I am reading it on my Kobo. So hopefully I will get through more of this today and then be able to tell you a little bit more about this one. We're following a girl called Velody and then a boy called Garnet. I'm not entirely sure what's going on yet. So I'll get back to you on what's going on with that one. Hopefully neither of these options takes too long to get through, and we will see how we go. Another update for you. I did in my last one, I think, tell you that I had started Power and Majesty by Tansy Rayner Roberts, and I was having an okay time right at the beginning, but in saying that now, maybe not so much. I've got to chapter 7. which is not very far. It's only 34 pages in, and I don't really understand what is going on. So I am going to DNF this one right here, and I will be unhauling it, as well as its sequel, which I owned as well, which is The Shattered City. Just writing style is not for me. I don't really get the world at all. We've been just kind of pushed into it. A lot of the words just sound really made up, but then it seems like a mixture of like London and a made up world, and then with a little bit of French thrown in. I don't know. They're just not for me. That kind of ruins me again for Hidden Gems. So we have another DNF. That's okay. I was scrolling through my books and I have started Fog and Mist, which you can't really see that because it keeps going dark on me. It's by Cassidy Engine. I'll put a better graphic up on the screen. This is book one of the Cannons Chronicles. I don't know where I heard about it or where I got it, but it is on my Kobo. I looked it up on Goodreads. It has under 1,000 ratings. So we're just going to go for this one. So far, so good. I am 4% in on page 18. So we'll see how we go. So I have been just watching Realmathon sprints and reading along a bit, and I'm going to keep doing that. They're in the middle of a sprint now. It's about 10 past 11 at night here. So I'm going to do a little bit more reading and then probably just get ready for bed. But hopefully I can get some more read and finished would be great. Hello, I thought I would just pop in and give you an update. I'm in the middle of watching a playback of Realmathon sprints. I think these ones are on Lexi's channel. I'll link all the Realmathon sprints or any of the creators down below. But I've reached the part 2 in Fog and Mist. So it's at about page 74 of the ebook. According to this, about 440 pages, depending on how you have your font. This is not overly well written. It's not unreadable, so it's definitely fairly easy to get through. I am slightly confused. I feel like I've forgotten something that I read yesterday because one of the characters we're following is the princess, and this does seem to be a very Snow White retelling. She is the princess of this kingdom, evil stepmother, queen who has a talking mirror, that kind of stuff. There's a huntsman who is in this story as well. But she is about to be sold to slavery. So it's definitely not a exact retelling. It's also been fairly aggressive in some of its descriptions. I don't know if that's necessarily right. Graphic a little. She's being manhandled, all kinds of stuff. So it's not that easy a read. There is a fair bit of killing. We're also following another point of view from a character called Russ, and he is a king of, I think, a neighboring kingdom, and his sister has been kidnapped by a set of gypsies, and he is trying to locate her and not taking no for an answer. And so there is a fair bit of battling and fighting and killing going on in that point of view as well. These two point of views, I don't know how long we're going to get until they actually meet, so that'll be fairly interesting. The chapters are short, which I do appreciate. I feel like I get through it a fair bit quicker when we've got short chapters. This is definitely, I don't think, going to be a book that I continue on with the next in the series at this stage, unless something blows me out of the water. But I think I will be able to actually finish this one. So hopefully I will pop in with 2 finishes fairly soon. Not much further in this Woven Kingdom than I was yesterday. I didn't really get a chance to do much audiobook reading today. Today was my day off, but was still pretty busy with just a lot going on in every sense. So back at work tomorrow, so I will be able to get a bit more of my audio read, hopefully, while I am at work, and then going to continue on reading tonight. I don't really feel like doing much else. Let's try and get these books done. afternoon, technically, where I am. It is Saturday afternoon. I completely spaced today and didn't realize that this weekend was Gala of Peace sprints for Realmathon. So I have just come across the Realmathon start sprints for that. So I do plan on watching those and doing a bit of reading. In saying that, I'm in the middle of multiple books. I have less, like 50 pages, if that, left of This Woven Kingdom. So that I will definitely be able to finish, but I am 42% through with this. So I will continue reading this, but I think I will also start another book to try and do that whole thing within these 48-hour sprints. We'll see how I go, because I do have a fair few plans this weekend. So one thing I thought I could try and get through is Angel's Blood by Nalini Singh. I think this one should be a fairly quick read. It's not hugely long, so I might start that one. The other one that I'm assuming is going to be a fairly quick read that I need to read is Angus Burr's Mystical Cat Shelter. Now, this one is not for our fantasy bingo, which is what this vlog is for. If I do get to that one, I will maybe mention it in this, but it won't be a thing. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to try Angel's Blood, which is my book club pick for the Our Fantasy Bingo Square. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I can count it for double points in Realmathon. But we'll see how we go. I'm also just doing up some of my reading journal while I finish, ready for a flip through for that. I'm having a good weekend. Hopefully I can catch up on a few other jobs that I have and pre-filming and that kind of stuff and get some reading done. So we'll see how we go. I will pop in when I have finished This Woven Kingdom, because like I said, I'm not very far off finishing that now. So I'll give you my final thoughts on that one in the next clip. I'll see you in a bit. I almost forgot, and now that this is kind of turned into a Realmathon Fantasy Bingo vlog, I got my bookmarks that I ordered from Covers with Cassidy, so from Cassidy. They arrived on Thursday and I've been hanging to open them, so let's do it together. I did order a couple of stickers as well to put in my journal, so hopefully, I'm assuming this is them. It is, how exciting. Let's have a look. There should be some, the sticker's tiny. Little teeny tiny ones. I'm glad I got two now so that I can put them in my reading journal. Hopefully the second one's in there, because otherwise I only have one. And it's very cute. It's got this little dragon sticker wrapped in some tissue paper. Oh yeah, there it is. Excellent. I do have a second one. I did order a full set of all 4 bookmarks because they're just so pretty. I couldn't not. We have, I think the cats are the rogues. The butterflies, that is gorgeous colouring. I think they're the mages. I'm probably getting all of them wrong. The paladins is the team that I am in. And the phoenixes are the clerics, I think. If I have got all that wrong, I will pop them up on the screen. But just how pretty. And she's designed them so that they kind of run into each other. So all the colours. Okay. Then the purple. And then the green and the blue. They're so pretty, and I'm going to use them even when we're not doing Realmathon. But I think I will use my Paladin bookmark for the book that I am going to start today. Okay, in Realmathon sprints, I have managed to finish This Woven Kingdom. This one wasn't for me. I really struggled to get attached to any of the characters. Eliza and Cameron, I didn't really feel their interaction very much. It was an extremely slow read in the end, and I definitely found the audiobook better. I would not have coped physically reading this one at all. I was literally going to DNF earlier, as you know, but I am very glad that I have finished it. So, and take the bookmark out that was marking my last page update. And we get to pop out a little sticker over the high fashion slot on our Fantasy Bingo board, which is why we were reading it. I have also had this down for a couple of prompts in Herkhead, so that's going to be great that we get to mark those off as well. But let's mark this one off because this is what we are here for, hopefully. And there we go. So I just need my hidden gem one, which is what I'm reading at the moment, and then that is complete. And if we get all through color, I get a row there as well. Obviously we are going for a full blackout, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, really happy with the progress that we have made, and glad that I have got to mark that one off. I just realised I put the wrong sticker on there, so I have taken it off. That was the sticker for my journal. Not that it really matters, but I have specific ones cut for each sheet. So let's put the right one on here now. Hopefully that fits a lot better than the old one did. Not that you can really see that, but I can. In the end, I think I'm only going to give this one 3 stars, and I don't really have any desire to continue on and find out what's going to happen. I'm not really fussed one way or the other, so I think this is going to be the last one that we'll see on this channel from this series. I do still have Tahar Mafi's Shatter Me, which I've never read, so I am intrigued to give that a go at some point. So that is on my physical TBR. I do own a copy of that, so at some point hopefully that will come up and we can give that one a go. And I'm still interested in trying other stuff. If there is other series that Tahar Mafi has come out with, I might give a go as well, but just unfortunately this one didn't really hit for me, but that's okay. We can't have everything. But 3 stars. It is possibly a very good world. The world building is interesting. It's just a little slow. The magic system is intriguing. I didn't really understand the need for the devil to be in it. I wasn't really getting that, and that I found fairly shocking at the beginning. I was like, where did that come from? That was very left field when she was dreaming about the devil, and then like, yeah, I didn't feel like that kind of merged well in with the whole story. And I think if that maybe had been left out and another way to explain the jinn and the prophecies and that kind of stuff might have been a little bit more interesting. For me, anyway. But yeah, if you like a good teen epic fantasy, maybe consider giving this one a go. Just not for me. Sprints are still happening, so I am going to book this book while we're in a sprint for Becca and then start my next book. Okay, so I did end up starting Angel's Blood by Nalini Singh for Realmathon Gala of Peace, thinking I could probably get through this in the weekend. It'd be fairly easy. Is that likely to happen? Probably not. I did manage to get 88 pages in yesterday, and it's already 5:45 on Sunday night for me. So the likelihood of me reading this before the Gala of Peace is technically over is fairly slim to none. But I gave it a go. Either way, it will still get points for Realmathon, which is good. It is a fairly quick read. It's an interesting idea, world and concept. So we are following Elena, and I am so sick of Elena's being the main characters in a lot of these stories. I just think that name has been used to death. This is obviously an older series, so it was probably maybe one of the first. I don't know, but I just feel like every book that came out around this time period or every show, it's always an Elena, and then there's a Vampire Diaries. There's been multiple others. So I would prefer a different female main character name, but it is what it is. She is hired by the Archangels to hunt down another Archangel who has kind of gone rogue and that they need to deal with. There is a lot of sexual discussions and sex topics and that kind of stuff in here that I could have kind of done without. I think it's going to be that. I do like an urban fantasy setting. Sometimes I think that they're kind of refreshing if you read a lot of other higher fantasy. So sometimes an urban fantasy is a good change of pace. In saying that though, I kind of knew it was probably going to be a bit more spicy orientated going into it. It's not putting me off per se. I just feel like I'm more interested in the background story than all of the discussions around sex. at the moment. I am not sure. This is a big series and I don't know how interconnected all of the stories in here are, whether we're always just following different archangels and it's pretty much just a romance subplot in the back, like for the most part, and then the angel they're trying to aim to do is fairly a minor plot point or not. Her writing is very easy to read. I am enjoying her style, other than the sexy discussions constantly through it. Anyway, I do like this on the back of this one where it's like thick, romantic, action-packed, funny, sexy. Like, I think that is a really cool thing that they should probably do in books a bit more, so you can kind of know what you're getting into. Is kind of handy. At this stage, I would probably definitely continue with the series. Whether I will end up reading all of them, I don't know. But like I said, this probably feels like a good little palate cleanser kind of book every now and then. And they're not overly long. This one's only 339 pages. So it shouldn't take very long to read, which is one of the reasons I thought I could knock this out on the weekend, and then my weekend just got really busy. I'm about to watch back some sprints and do a little bit of reading, but I did manage to do some cross stitch today and hang out with my friends, which was good, and then go to brunch to celebrate my mum's birthday. So that was great. Other life things got in the way of reading today, which is perfectly fine, and I like that I got to spend time with my family and hang out with my friends. So the day's not over yet. We'll see what we can get done, but will I end up finishing this before the end of the gala? Probably not. It is Monday morning here, and unfortunately I didn't quite manage to finish Angel's Blood before the end of the 48-hour Peace Gala for Realmathon, so I won't be able to include this one for double points. I did try. I stayed up pretty late last night. If I think had realized the Peace Gala was on a little bit earlier, it would have been better. I did in the end up looking at when the time zone would end for when it started, and it is at like 9:30 this morning, my time. So that would have been okay. It's just, I have to go to work in like 5 minutes. I think I might have been able to get it finished if I'd been able to stay home today. That is not an option. So unfortunately, I will just have to plug this one for regular points in the end. So I just thought I'd pop in and say I was unfortunately not successful, though I still needed to read this and I managed to get a fair bit done over the weekend. So hopefully I will finish this one off tonight when I get home, and we will have another one done for our fantasy bingo and be that one step closer to blacking out that bingo board. Hello, it is Wednesday night, I think, that I'm filming this. Last night though, I did finish finally Angel's Blood. It took me a little bit longer in the end than I was hoping. It wasn't really essential that I finish it super quickly, so I've just plodded away at this and it is now finished. My thoughts. So I was very willing at the beginning to DNF this one. I was fine with possibly not reading this and then not reading the rest of the other series. I didn't realize as well that it was going to have vampires in it. I obviously knew it was about angels and archangels, so I found that a little bit shocking, and there was so much sex talk, spicy scenes, not as many, but just so much. And I was getting a bit over that, and I just like, is this all this book is about? Where is the plot? I want to know more about the angels, all that kind of stuff. And it did get there in the end. I think a lot closer to the end, I think we were getting a bit more information about the world and the angels and how they exist, how vampires are turned and made and all that kind of stuff. And I found that a lot more interesting. I didn't mind some of the banter that we got, though. I found Elena really annoying in a lot of parts, and just her reactions very odd, and I felt it was a little bit choppy between scenes. Like, I'm like, why are they doing this now? What happened? I don't know if I missed something. Yeah. Overall, I was very shocked as well by the ending. I don't know why I didn't see what happens coming, but I didn't. And I have decided now that I think I will at least read the next one and maybe the little novella that goes before this, and just see how we go. This is a huge series and I'm not committing to the entire thing at the moment, though I will be popping it in my journal as if I was. But whether I do manage in the end to read all of these, I don't know. But for now, I will be definitely getting to the next one at some point. Not now. I've got a lot of other books to complete if we want to actually finish our fantasy bingo in the next couple of weeks. So this one was for, and I know that you can't see this very well, so it's very, very little, book club and read along book. So we get to mark that off, and I do have my little sticker ready to go. The right sticker this time, because I did not use the right sticker last time and had to change everything. But this one is the right sticker for this board. So we will pop that on there. And that actually gives us 2 more bingos. So we've got this down bingo and an across. So we still have 3 books left. I am still reading Fog and Mist, which was my hidden gem book. Unfortunately, and like a bit of a spoiler, I don't really think this is a hidden gem. It does fit the criteria though. I will finish it. I am at 48%, so I'm nearly halfway there. I did stop reading this one to read Angel's Blood, which I enjoyed a lot more. I'm going to finish this one off, and I've got 6 hours to go. But I think next year, or this year with the upcoming bingo board, I'm going to look at the possibility of maybe switching out some of the prompts if I need to, because I know you can definitely in the rules switch out one. But I think I left it too late to make that decision to switch it out. That's okay. It is what it is. Also, by reading Angel's Blood, I get to mark off one of my 2026 priority reads. So I thought we could do that together as well. Not that that is what this video is about, but I had the sticker ready to go, so I just thought might as well pop that on camera as well. If I could get the backing off, for some reason this one does not want to play. Angel's Blood is right in the top right corner, so hopefully you'll be able to, yeah, you can see it. Let's mark it off of here as well. And there we go. I have now officially finished 3 of my 26 and 2026 priority reads. Probably not enough, but we'll get there. And only 3 to go on our fantasy bingo. And like I said at the beginning of this vlog, these 2 probably I have technically already done, but I do have books that I allocated to it, and now I'm kind of stuck in that I want to read those 2 books specifically, but we will see. It is currently Saturday night on the 21st maybe, and I have finally finished another book towards our fantasy bingo. I have completed the hidden gem square. I was getting a bit worried there for a while. I didn't think it was going to happen. I was not going well with any of the books that I have tried for this prompt. However, I did manage to finish now Fog and Mist by Kelsey Engen. Engen. I'm not sure how you say her name, so apologies. But I am giving this one 2 stars. I did not like this book at all. I thought multiple times about DNFing it, but I didn't have time to start another one, find another book. I'd already done that once this month. So I can successfully say that I have finished it, and we're going to pop the little sticker up. It is an author that is not already on our bingo board, so that works out. It's pretty good. And we do now have another bingo across the top. I do have 2 squares left. We'll see how we go. I do think I need to actually swap out the book Tears of the Wolf that I was going to read for published in 2025, because I realized when I looked it up that as a possibility it was actually published in 2024. It's a bit ambiguous, so I'm just going to switch it out. And 2 secs. I'm back. My plan is to switch it out for Never the Roses by Jennifer K. Lambert. This is definitely published in 2025, and it was this author's debut novel as far as I can tell. So that would cover that one for hard mode. So this is probably one of my next reads, hopefully, for this vlog. It may possibly be the next one that you see. And then Author of Colour. I'm sure I've got one that I can fit in there if I don't get to An Ember in the Ashes. We're getting there. Fog and Mist though, it just was not for me. So we are following 3 main point of views. We've got Winterberry, Russ, and Blanche. So Winterberry is the princess. There's the evil stepmother queen, and that is Blanche. And Winterberry's been hidden away. No one really knows what's going on with her. The queen's telling everyone that she's really sick, and in the end, Winterberry gets sold into slavery. So Blanche sells her into slavery to get rid of her. She can't kill her because that would enact a curse, but she doesn't want her around either. So she wants ultimate power. We are also then following Russ, who is the king of one of the neighbouring kingdoms. He has come into the Canes in search of his sister, who has been kidnapped by gypsies and also sold into slavery. Again, another princess. And this book is brutal. It doesn't pack any punches. Like, you're hearing it all. There is physical violence, sexual violence, mentioned slavery, magic, but also not the best writing, I don't think. It was very choppy, things came out of nowhere, the story didn't really flow, and the one that I was reading, I checked out from Kobo Plus. Some of the beginning chapter heading letters were missing, so I had to kind of, for the most part, figure it out, and I feel like there was a lot of words missing just in the sentences and stuff. I just really struggled. The story was violent, and what was happening to these slaves was atrocious, so I guess that in and of itself could be a talking point, but I didn't really want to read it. I have no intention of picking up the next one in this series, so if you want to spoil what happens in the end, if you have read it definitely for me was not a hidden gem, and I think it pulled in so many different fairy tale prompts that it got a bit ridiculous in the end. So there was like a little Red Riding Hood reference with the wolf, and all of a sudden there was the ability to shapeshift. There was a lot of like Seven Dwarfs kind of thing with Snow White and that kind of instance, and it just was a lot. And it was a decent sized book, so in the end I think it worked out to about 413 pages on my Kobo. It said slightly more when I looked it up on Goodreads, but I think there was this like little extra bit at the end that I didn't end up reading, which possibly could have been what that was about. So I've only read 413 pages, and that took me a long time. And I feel like I maybe detrimentally have spent too long on this book, and if I had DNF'd it earlier, possibly could have switched it out for something else. So I think next time when I'm doing our fantasy bingo, I will definitely be looking at those prompts where I just really cannot find a book that I want to read, or give myself enough time to switch that prompt out properly. So we've got 2 left. We'll see how we go. I will pop in when I get into my next book and tell you what it's going to be, but for now we did get another line bingo. Hello, I just thought I would pop in. Hopefully the light in this clip isn't horrendous, but I've been just editing a video for while I'm away and sat down to read for a little while before I head off to bed, and realised I'd started a new fantasy book today and needed to give you an update because I am nearly 90 pages in now, so I'm up to chapter 11. It seemed like a good point to pop in, and that is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I did have another audio book on the go, and it was really slow and I was getting really bored, so I just thought, you know what, we're just going to stop that one and move on to this. And it was so much better straight off. I was hooked straight away. The style of writing seems really well done. The story just flowed a lot better. The narrators were a lot more engaging and exciting. And I liked that in this one we have 2 narrators over the single narrator that I was getting in the previous book I was reading. I don't know a huge amount about what is going on at the moment. So like I said, we have the 2 POVs. So we have Layla, I think her name is Layla. I don't know how they pronounced it. Leia, I think it was Leia. And she has an older brother who has been taken in a raid, and her grandparents have been killed, and she is desperate to get him back. And so she is on the hunt to join the resistance and get their help. We don't know a huge amount about her and where she's coming from. We just know that her brother has been working in secret with the resistance. In this land, they are ruled by a fairly tyrannical empire from the sounds of it, and then an overall emperor. And our other POV is a soldier for the emperor. So he is currently training at Blackwing, was it? I do like that in this one there is a Black Cliff Academy. Sorry, I do like in this book though that there is a map, so I could refer back to that, even though I started it at work today And then we do have another one of the overall empire as well. So he is at Blackcliff Academy and he's right near the end of his training. And we see a fairly brutal scene at the beginning. These kids at this academy are trained from a young age. So some really young children have tried to defect and escape, and they are caught, and one is punished and ultimately dies. If you haven't read this already and you're thinking about it, just keep that in mind. This is a teen series, so it was interesting. It's coming out swinging. It's not pulling any punches right from the beginning. But our main character has witnessed this and already at this stage knew that he wanted to defect as well. He is older. He's waited it out a lot longer than this child had. Where they are studying, they get given these kind of masks that eventually mold to their faces as their training continues. And his hasn't for some reason. Probably because he is so against joining and what they think. I'm assuming at the moment. But his mother is his commander, but she abandoned him at birth. And his grandfather is an even higher level in their kind of army. And we're just at the point where we are apparently going to be heading into some trials on his side of the story, which will be interesting. And from Leia's point of view, she has just met up with the rebels, so that will be interesting too. I think it's just going to be a really good, interesting read. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm liking Sabatahir's writing style and just super gripped and intrigued to see what is going to happen. Elias, is the name of our other point of view, which I don't think I ever said. Sorry, it's fairly late at night at the moment when I'm filming this. I probably should have just waited and done this clip update tomorrow, but I also thought if I don't do it now, I'm not going to remember to do it at all, and then I'll finish the book and I won't have a clip. But I am going to continue on with this one tomorrow at work, giving that one a listen. So hopefully it won't take me too long to get through. I think it's about a 14 hour audio, so it shouldn't be too bad. And that, if I can knock this one out, only leaves me with one book. So super excited that maybe I might actually be able to complete our fantasy bingo before the end of the month. So from today's date, what is it today? It is the 23rd, so not too long. I have a week. I can do it. But yeah, I do have a different physical read on the go at the moment. I'm reading my Becca new release. I think the other book that I need to read, that published in 2025, I only have a copy physically, so I'm flying through this one. As soon as I finish that, I will pick up Never the Roses, and we will do this. I have very high confidence in myself at the moment that I can get this done. But I'll pop in when I have finished this book and tell you what I thought. I have done it. I have just finished An Ember in the Ashes by Sabatahir. And to say that this was an epic journey would be an understatement. It was so brutal in parts that I was so shocked and horrified, and I will admit that I did nearly cry at one point. I was so worried about what was going to happen to Leia and just would not have handled it very well, I don't think, if something horrible had happened. I was dragged into this world. I think it was written so well. It was fast paced, but you still got great depth of character, I think, and emotion. And I just really, really enjoyed my time with this book and am eager to pick up the next one as soon as possible. So I think I do hopefully have an ebook or something. So even though my April and May TBR are kind of big, I may still attempt to get this second one done while I am away. But so glad that I did push through and try and finish off our fantasy bingo in this last few days of March, even though it's very down to the wire. I am glad that I didn't swap it out and just use a different book in this square, and instead actually did manage to finish An Ember in the Ashes. The audio was done really well. We had dual narration. I thought it was great. Both narrators did really well. I don't know that I would have pronounced her name correctly if I'd just been reading it without listening to it. Any kind of fantasy name thing generally just stumps but highly recommend picking this up. This is an older series. I saw it around for years before I just thought, you know what, I will read that. And it wasn't until I think Air came out, which was only last year, then I realized I needed to read this series first, that I really put it on my radar. And I'm so glad that it has come on my radar, and I am just super excited to get to the next 3 books, and happy that there are 3 more that I can get into. The characters and the world, they're just sadistic and evil, and then there are really good ones as well. So really love my time with it. Looking forward to popping that down for a couple of different options for Herked as well, which is really handy. But we are here for our fantasy bingo. So the 2 squares that we have left, I can now mark off an Ember in the Ashes for author of colour. And then that just leaves us 1 to go. Have I started the last book? No. I didn't get that very straight, but it is on there. That has obviously given us another bingo down that way, but we've just got that middle square. I just realized I don't think I told you what I was going to rate this. I literally finished this like less than 10 minutes ago, but it is such a high 4.5 5-star read. So I'm still umming and ahhing, but I think I just really enjoyed my time with it. It was so emotional and just dragged me in. I think it's got to be a 5-star read. I don't know that I could really rate it any lower. It was just so much fun, and I'm hoping that that just continues on. So 5 stars for this one from me. Highly recommend checking it out. Still planning on picking up Never the Roses. Really love the cover of this one as well, like rose that looks to me kind of like a set of mountains. I don't know if everyone else is getting that vibe. I did hear Katherine Heigl talking about this, which is what put it on my radar. And then I was walking past a new book display at work and I saw it. I'm like, that's that book. I'm going to borrow that. So this would get this off of my TBR of my library books as well. So that would be good, even though this is not one of my library vlogs, but any that I can get back, just it gives me the opportunity to borrow something else. So looking forward to starting this one and hopefully having this finished by the 31st. It is the 26th today. So I am running out of time. My birthday though is the 30th and I have taken the day off of work because who wants to work on their birthday? Hopefully we'll get a decent chunk of time just to relax a little bit. I do have some videos that I still need to finish filming and editing, and I would like to just do some stuff though to treat myself. So that is my plan at the moment, is to have a bit of a relaxed day. My weekend's fairly busy, so we'll see how we go. But Never the Roses is next. 1 book to go. Hello, how are you going? We are getting down to the wire now. It is the 28th of March. And I am a decent enough chunk through Never the Roses. I am on chapter 11, so that is 98 pages in. And this one we're following Oneira, who is a sorceress who has been working a lot of her life for a queen, doing her bidding pretty much. She was pretty much considered, I would say, as a slave. So she has a contract which she has the ability to pay off. So everything she do, I think the queen had to like give her an amount that it would take off of her bill. And then she was doing side jobs and that kind of stuff. So in the end, she did manage to get out from under this queen and has retired from any kind of battling to her own castle, pretty much in the middle of nowhere, right by a mountain. And she's just living a really quiet life and chilling out, taking it all in, but also trying to wipe away the taint that she considers is over her from all the killing and that kind of stuff that has happened. She has like mortal arch enemy kind of character. So there is a king on the northern lands who also has a sorcerer, Sterenos. Sorry, I was trying to just remember his name. So it's Sterenos, and he's still under the thumb of his king. So he hasn't been able to pay off his debt yet, pretty much at the whim of that king. It took a while actually to get Sterenos's point of view. I was thinking for this majority of this that we were only going to be seeing it from Oneira's point of view, because I think it wasn't until like chapter 7 that it changed over. And I was like, oh, okay, we're getting someone else. It is fairly slow. Like, I do feel like it's taking me a while to actually get into the story, even just to move through the chapters. Although when I looked it up in the book, they're not that long. So I don't know what it is. It's just maybe the writing style and the plot story itself. It's fairly just cozy, lazy day kind of thing. And it's probably just because she doesn't want to have a high action, that kind of thing. It's just her kind of day-to-day life at this castle and setting up. And then she does eventually get visited by 3 animals. So she has kind of a wolf protector first off comes, and then a falcon, and then a cat. I can't tell though if it is like a big lion sized cat or just a house cat. But yeah, they haven't really described it, or if I did, I missed it, like exactly the size wise. I'm pretty sure it's a bigger cat, but they literally have just called it a cat. My intention originally had been to physically read this one, but it's taking me a little bit longer because I don't have as much time to sit down and read a lot of the time at the moment. So it's taken me longer to finish the physical book I'm in the middle of. And I just decided in the end, I listened to the sample of this from Audible, and I couldn't get the audio very quickly from any of the sites that I would normally get an audio from. So I just ended up using a credit and getting it from Audible, and been doing it that way. So it has multiple narrators, which has been great. There is a little bit of a weird sound level disparity, definitely between the male narrator and the female one, but even in the beginning, in the first 7 chapters where we just had the female narrator, it felt like there was just random sentences that would jump up and down with the volume level, and even like just the quality of her voice was a lot different. So that was really interesting and did slightly just make it jarring experience listening to, but overall it's fairly good. I'm just finding it a little slow. The 2 main sorcerers have never even met each other. And what we have in this world as well is kind of dream magic. So Inira has the ability to enter a dream state, so she can put people to sleep and kind of see your dreams and then access it and jump from there to other dreams that have similar themes and concepts and people involved in them and work her way through. And then she can kind of pick out things within that dream that she wants, that she needs to help her daily life. And when they come out as weird kind of copies. So she then has to manipulate it somehow into a usable function. And she does get caught out in one of her dream jumping, dream thieving moments. And that has only just recently happened. So that was a little interesting, that she thinks she's fairly all powerful at the moment, but this old lady that has no magic was just like, I know you're there. So that was interesting. She has also started goading Steranov. She visited his library. She's able to kind of move herself through time as well via these dreams, so she can jump locations. And she infiltrates his castle and steals a book from his library, thinking he's not going to notice because who cares? It's just one book from thousands, but he notices straight away. And so now they've just started a bit of kind of a letter writing thing left in the books in his library, which is interesting. At the moment, she has no plans to go back, but I think that she obviously will, because I do hope that we get a bit more of an interaction that way through them. And the queen that used to own her contract wants her back. So there is also now the threat of invasion from the north for this queen. And without her main sorceress anymore, she's feeling under threat. But she's sounding a little sadistic with the chapter that I just listened to from her. So it's interesting. It's easy to get through. I hopefully will definitely have it done before Tuesday when we hit March 31st, but we'll see how we go with it. Hello, it is the 30th of March and less than 5 minutes ago, I just finished Never the Roses, which was our last book in our fantasy bingo. I am so happy that I did manage to complete this. So let's mark it off. I've got my little cutout here. I'm so excited. Like I said, just so excited. Let's fill this out. And then we have our full bingo board. Yay! I will pop it up on the screen in a second. Let's go over to the library chair because the light and the angle here is dodgy as hell. And I will give you my final thoughts on Never the Roses and we will wrap this vlog up. So Never the Roses was my 31st read of the year. Really happy with how I'm going with all my reading. And so happy that I have managed to finish this challenge, like I said. Let's have a bit of a chat about Never the Roses. So overall, I didn't mind this story. It was fairly easy to listen to. The narrators did a good job. The one thing I did find extremely annoying was the change in the volume level between the male narrator and the female narrator, because I kept having to increase the volume when he was on and then decreasing it again when she came back in. So that was a little frustrating. I have been able to increase my audio speed a decent chunk since I started reading a lot more and really happy. So I don't feel like that has impacted it. It was just that volume. Overall, not a huge amount really happens in this book. It is very one little section of this woman's life where she's going through the dream and then she has a bit of banter with Styranos, our main character. And Oneira is just struggling with what she's done in life to get where she is. The amount of people that she's had to kill while she was controlled by the queen. The fact that Styranos is still controlled by his king, and there's that threat to her sanctuary as well. I liked the introduction of the 3 animal companions that end up coming to her. I think it was funny how she named one Bunny, and that was just such an interesting take. I am able to use this for one of my other challenges in Hercat as well, which is really happy because of those animals. So I'm happy about that as well. Overall, our fantasy bingo has been such a fun experience and introduced me to pick up books, enticed me to pick up books that I wouldn't normally have, like this one. I don't know when I would have gotten to this if I hadn't needed to have one for the 2025 square. Overall, I think I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars. I did find out that Jennifer K. Lambert is a pseudonym for Jeffy Kennedy, I think it was. So this author has written a lot more stuff. There is another book coming out that maybe is set in the same world as this, though it's not a full sequel. I don't know that I will pick up any more in this world. Like I said, it was easy, but I don't really have a huge urge to like pick up straight away anything that comes along. I'm not going to rule it out if it fits really well with something I am wanting to do and I think that the premise sounds interesting. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not going to rush out and buy one either. So overall, a decent book, a fantasy romance. One of the characters fully gave me the ick, like a lot. And I think he was meant to. Today is also my birthday. So I love the symmetry of me finishing this challenge on my birthday. I'm about to go out and get my nails done for my birthday and my trip coming up. So you're not going to see this video for a couple of weeks. So March will be well and truly over. Hopefully you managed to complete your Our Fantasy bingo, whether it was just getting a line bingo, a diagonal bingo, or blacking out the board. I hope you did really well or just had a lot of fun attempting it if you haven't finished it either. I will be continuing on with Our Fantasy bingo next year. I am eagerly anticipating the prompts and the board coming out at the beginning of April. So hopefully I'll have time to pop together a TBR for that I can get up. But if I don't, there is one coming. Just know that I am going to be participating and you will see that in a later challenge video if I don't manage to get a video out specifically for that before I go. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed this vlog. If you have, please consider hitting that like button and also subscribing. I'd love to have you on board. I've also linked down below my Goodreads, my Storygraph and my Instagram if you'd like to come and follow me over on any of those. And I hope your reading went great and I hope that wherever you are having a really wonderful day. And we'll see you next time. Bye.